Hey guys, welcome to Grounded Roots Healing. I'm Jason and I'm an alchemist, and today I want to talk about what you can expect to see when you open your third eye and what's happening. It's pretty wild. It's amazing actually, and I've started having some things come online a little bit stronger than they have been in the past. Namely, being able to see auras. And I just thought I'd try to clarify what exactly is happening there. A lot of people can do this. Almost everybody can. I bet you everybody can if they work on it, let's say. But it's not something I ever was able to do before, to be honest. Even when I had my spontaneous enlightenment and 3 days of blessed out Christ consciousness, I didn't see auras at all. Not at all. Not that I can remember. Which I find strange at this point, actually, because I did a lot of other things. Maybe they just look different to me. I don't know. But recently I've started being able to see my aura in particular. And it takes a bit of work, but I can see it. And for example, my hand, I'm going to try to soften my gaze and see if I can see it. Yeah, it looks light blue to me. Well, I should have said, what do you guys see? But and the tips of my fingers are on the outer edge of my fingers. So what I'm doing is I'm looking in the direction of my fingers, but not trying to look at anything in particular. Not a particular spot, just at the outer edge of my finger. And soften my gaze, they say. Well, what that means is I'm breathing into my heart center, focusing my conscious attention into my heart center, with my eyes pointed in that general direction. And then on the outer edge of my fingers, I can see this light blue light. That's what I see. It can look really close to the skin, like this far away. I've noticed, it's almost like a mirage. You can see the energy. It's kind of, it looks clear or white, and then the blueness starts to come out from there. That's what I've seen on my hands. Now, I have seen this on other people as well. If I soften my gaze, there's been some really high vibing people. It seems to be quite a bit easier to see on those people because their vibrational frequency is higher. Therefore, they're embodying more of their light and it's brighter. So, I've got to explain this every single time, but we're living in these physical avatars as far as I'm concerned, but we're inhabiting them as conscious beings, and our conscious body is the soul. The conscious body that filters down, it's not really down, but into the body from the astral plane is who we are. And we inhabit these avatars. We puppeteer these avatars using the chakra system. There's 7 chakras. There's many more than that in actuality, and they don't really stop. But there's seven chakras that we consider to be the main ones. And the soul uses those to consciously steer this being, this body, around in the universe, around in the earth, not the universe. So, and that conscious body has its own operating system, which would be the mind. So the brain is the operating system for this vessel, and the conscious being is inhabiting this and trying to not associate with it and realize that it's a vehicle that you're using. It does have that operating system, that mind, that's very loud and is hard to steer back control of the vehicle from. So we're doing that. This light that's inhabiting these bodies is what the aura is. It's not just inside the body, it actually beams down on the outside of the body as well. Now, if you have a high vibrational frequency in your body, i.e., you've cleared out a lot of the blockages in your chakra system, you've healed the body enough that you can, let's say, beam more of your light into yourself, it shows on the outside. It's a stronger light. You're holding more light. And depending on what your gifts and different abilities are, the colors will be different of the chakras. I'm just learning about this now, so I'm not an expert in it. But I do understand why it's getting brighter and brighter. Not to mention, your psychic abilities are tied to how clear your third eye is open. So, if your third eye is open and clear and you're embodying more of your light, which means your aura is stronger, you can see other people's auras stronger. So where it really comes into effect is when someone who's vibing high sees someone else who's vibing high. You can see their auras clear and bright. So you can work on this. You can make it stronger. The more you practice it, the easier it becomes. I've noticed that if I stand in the sun, say with my palms to the sun, you're absorbing the sun's rays. It strengthens your aura. And when you do that exercise where you breathe into your heart center with your eyes open, so you're trying to go into a meditative state with your eyes open, and then look at something. If you can do that, and you're strengthening it with the sun's rays, it becomes extra bright. And now I had an experience where I was standing outside doing that. I was grounding myself at the same time, which is no doubt helpful. And then I did that, and it was this brilliant turquoise, almost like a force field around my entire hand. It was unmistakably bright. You know, right now, if I look at it, I see like a subtle light blue color. It's actually quite bright right now. Just this backlit from this light here is helping me see it. It's actually brighter than I usually see it. And it'll flow, the energy coming out of the tips of your fingers or around the side of your hand. As you move it, the energy almost drags and lags behind it. So it's really, really cool. To what end? I'm not sure what we can do with this. Other than if people do have blockages in their chakra system, you'll be able to see that. When you hone this strong enough, if someone is struggling with their embodying a lot of their light, you'll be able to actually visually see it without even interacting with that person. And I suspect that is a great way to target energy healing. So when you become adept at using Reiki, for example, you'll know where to zero in. And I know a lot of the Reiki practitioners that I use, that's how they do it. One of them, she says she can see the auric fields. She visually sees it. Others have a sense or a feeling of where to go. It's hard to describe, but if you try this, you'll start to understand with it. Feeling energies is the name of the game for this whole thing. And getting sensitive, getting all of the chemical blockages out of your body, clearing your chakras, fixing childhood trauma, all of this stuff, all that does is serve to desensitize your abilities. And as you start to heal them and clear them, things will come online because your sensitivities get so in tune that you start to pick more things up. And then when you first notice that, like the first time I noticed the auras around the tips of my fingers, I was fascinated, and they were really, really tight to the finger. I could barely notice it, but it was close. And then as I kept doing it, I kept seeing it farther and farther away from my fingers. And now I can see it where they almost interact with each finger and the tips of the fingers. And Also, I've noticed if I do this, say I'm sitting in a meditative state with my eyes open and I'm looking at it like a tree line, I can see the auric glow around the trees. There's a million ways that this works. Maybe around the moon, if you do the same thing. I've noticed that, absolutely noticed that. Some of my best meditations have been like that. And in fact, when I meditate, I see in my internal vision, I often see like an aurora borealis of light. And normally it's well, it varies, but if I'm doing it at nighttime, it's usually purple, violet, and white, all just rolling around in my internal vision. And usually at the center, when I'm concentrated on my third eye, I'll see like a sparkly purple blob in the middle, very bright purple colors with almost like welder's flash. It's so bright. And then it'll disappear and there'll be all kinds of stuff going on. Well, if you do this under the sun, quite often I'll see turquoise, very bright turquoise. Or if you're grounded well, I'll see dark red. These are corresponding to the chakras that you're focused on, or that you're maybe clearing blockages through, or aligning. And you start to get used to seeing this, and you notice it more and more. And like I said, once you notice it, it becomes easier and easier to notice it, and it becomes stronger and stronger. So you're clearing your third eye, and you're improving your psychic abilities, and you're able to see auras. And what else can you see? So I've said this before, as you start to increase your vibration and your vibrational frequency, and you clear all of this stuff out of your system, your sensitivities increase, your third eye gets clearer and open. When you start to open your third eye, you're at a higher vibrational frequency overall, which means you've moved up timelines as well. This is all tied together. There is no jumping like this. It's gradational. So as you bring yourself up, you go up timelines. When you go up timelines, everything becomes brighter, crisper, clearer, because your third eye is open. So you may notice things like that mountain over there didn't look as high before. It was lower and it wasn't so impressive. Or the color of that lake is extremely vibrant, or the sunset is incredible. Or I'm seeing rainbows everywhere. This is because you've opened your third eye. This stuff was always there, but on the lower timelines, in a lower vibrational state, it's just dull. Everything is dull. You can't see it. And this goes for things like ancestors, spirits, extraterrestrial craft, orbs, portals. All of this stuff is high vibrational things. So when you have all of your chakras clear and aligned, it cycles at 144,000 hertz in a vessel that is able to hold that much light. Those other beings that I'm talking about, they are vibrating at 218,000 hertz or higher. So in order to see them, they either have to lower their vibrational frequency, or you have to increase your abilities to see past what you're in with your human eyes. Your third eye can see past the veil and higher vibrational entities. It's outside the light spectrum that the human eye can see, but your third eye can see it. So what you're trying to do by softening your gaze is use your third eye to see on top of the vision of your human vision, but not let the human vision overtake. You obviously need to use human vision in order to navigate through the world. So this would be akin to if anyone's watched the Matrix movies, when Neo has both of his eyes destroyed, his human eyes, they get electrocuted and fused, and he no longer can see visually. But his third eye is so open that he can see the energetic signatures around him, because all of this is energy, and he can navigate and use his third eye only to navigate around the world and see everything else that nobody else can see through the fog, so to speak. It's a perfect allegory for understanding how the third eye works compared to human vision. So I have seen orbs. When I get in that meditative state and I soften my gaze, often I've seen orbs, like, without a doubt. These are orbs in the sky, get very, very bright, flicker. Maybe they move quickly from left to right, and then they dissipate. So they're dropping their vibrational frequency down into a state where I can see them with my third eye, and then they're fluttering back out. They're vibrating higher again. Now, these ET spaceships type things, I've seen that as well. This was actually recently, and it was the same idea. It was at night. Everything was right in that time, the witching hour they call it, between 3 and 4 o'clock, when the veil is thinner. This is often known as the time when the veil is at its thinnest. And I looked in a completely dark room out the window towards the horizon there. I knew where the horizon was. There were several farms in the distance, and above, in the air, I could see an object. It was bright, it was glowing, it was rather large, and it was moving from left to right. I could tell based on there was 2 cell phone towers close by flashing, and it was above that, and it was moving. And around this object was another smaller object moving back and forth, left and right. And then I was watching, I was like, whoa, wow, that's interesting. And then the small object that was around the bigger object shot off into space. It was a completely cloudless night. I could see all the stars. It shot off in less than a second. It was out of sight, like a blur. What was that? I don't know, but I did see it, and it was definitely helpful that I was in a meditative state, and at the time of night as well. So as you clear your third eye, as you heal yourself, this stuff is going to come back online. You're going to start seeing things like this. You're going to start being able to see through the veil. There will be your ancestors visually standing next to you. Force ghosts. So I've seen that too. It's incredible, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, if you're not afraid of it, and I am not, I understand what's happening. When this first happened to me and some of this stuff started occurring, I freaked out, which is why it happens so gradually and these gifts get turned on slowly, is because it would freak you out. And we've been conditioned by society to be afraid of this stuff. So we are. I'll describe maybe some of those things that freak me out another time. But for the time being, if you want to see this stuff, the best way to do it is to clear that third eye, heal yourself, do the work, do the shadow work, and, eat quality foods and take care of your body as well, because that is important as well. So I think I'll leave it there. Like I always say, I hope this video finds you well. I love you all, and we'll see you soon.